welcome to the October 21st Board of Commissioners meeting. We will begin, as is customary, with the observance of a moment of silence. Thank you. Please rise for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we have an opportunity for public comment. If not, we will go into the approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as printed from the last meeting.
And I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comment, question, or additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Now in replacement today for our treasurer, we have Tina. Tina Tobias, give the treasurer's report.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tina.
We started out with a cash balance of $2,879,176.10. Our receipts for the 19th and 20th were $25,620.99, which brought us to a total cash balance of $2,904,797.09, less our expenditures of $1,102,737.69, and less tax claim of $3,299.11, brought our balance to $1,798,760.29.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the report as presented by Tina. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to introduce yourselves and you may proceed.
Michelle Staveley, Director of Human Resources. Leanne Shank, Human Resources Assistant. Under Personnel Transactions, Resignations and Terminations, Jane Halbati, Aging Care Manager 2 from Area Agency on Aging, retirement effective October 30th. James Zombro, Maintenance Mechanic, Buildings and Grounds, term, no call, no show, effective October 11th. Tammy Kelly, Judicial Secretary in the Courts, resignation effective October 6th. Michael DiPaolo, Detective Sergeant from the District Attorney's Office, Detectives Bureau, retirement effective December 24th. Sarah Fabries, Imaging Clerk and Domestic Relations, resignation effective October 29th. Robert Paul, Full-Time Correctional Officer at the jail, resignation effective October 23rd. Keith Yaltz, Full-Time Correctional Officer at the jail, resignation effective September 26th. Scott Zimmerman, Full-Time Correctional Officer at the jail, resignation effective October 15th. James McIntyre Jr., Full-Time Correctional Officer at the jail, resignation effective October 21st. Renee Ream, Full-Time Developmental Assistant at Renova Center, resignation effective October 6th.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignations and terminations as read.
And I'll second the motion with special recognition to Jane Halbati and Michael DiPaolo for almost 2 decades of service each.
Would you like to amend the motion or are you good with that?
Is that part of the motion?
Sure. I don't know, I'm assuming it's okay. Any comment or question regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under leaves of absence, Nancy Short from Area Agency on Aging, 13 days paid leave of absence effective October 5th, returned October 18th. Juan Lopez from the jail, 2-week leave of absence effective October 7th, expected return date of October 22nd. Brittany Labar, Domestic Relations, 2-week leave of absence effective October 28th, expected return date of November 12th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those leaves of absence. Any question or comment regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so ordered.
Amy Leitner, transfer from caseworker 2 at Children and Youth Services to adult abuse investigator at Area Agency on Aging at the rate of $1,778.45 biweekly effective November 1st. Dawn Klein, promotion from clerk typist 2 at Children and Youth Services to fiscal assistant in Children and Youth Services at the rate of $992.90 biweekly effective November 1st. Caitlin Mininger, transfer from law clerk in the courts to assistant public defender 1 in the public defender's office at the rate of $1,900.38 biweekly effective November 15th. Jennifer Gibson, change of status from full-time LPN at the Renova Center to casual call LPN at the rate of $17.17 per hour effective November 1st.
Make a motion to approve the changes of status as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any question or comment? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under other transactions, the Renova Center would like to hire Madison Betts, full-time developmental assistant, at the rate of $11.79 per hour, effective November 15th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that transaction. Any question or comment? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Page 2 of the salary board didn't print for me, but I know what they're supposed to be. So, moving on to salary board, motion to approve all transactions previously read plus the following. We have Owen Hanna and Ryan Ryder from the courts department who are past the bar, so they would be law clerks with the bar. And I don't have the rate in front of me, but I can get that to all of you afterwards.
That's it. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any question or comment? Subject to the additional information.
Yeah, I don't know what-
Should be provided now? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Through non-mandated conference seminars, I have Courtney Liller and Madison Stickler from the Controller's Office would like to attend the PA Controllers Association Fall Education Conference in Lancaster, November 17th, 18th, and 19th. $410 total registration fee with mileage and meals reimbursement.
Make a motion to approve the conference attendance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the controller's request. Any question or comment? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, about 10 minutes ahead of schedule. So I can go through that as I have to. Okay, first I have some contracts on behalf of the Action Partnership. The first being agreement for the provision of medical transportation services by Maximo Munoz for clients of the MATP program. And this would be from until June 30th of 2022 at the typical rates that we have for all other drivers, which is about a page and a half. So
I'll make a motion to approve Maximo Munoz as a MATP driver.
Second motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that placement. Any comment or question? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
okay, next I have another contract between Community Action Partnership and Sandra Long to provide emergency rental assistance program services on a contract basis of $35 per hour until, from October 25th until December 31st of this year, so just the remainder.
Make a motion to approve that, what is that?
ERAP contract,
What kind of contract?
emergency rental assistance.
Emergency rental assistance contract.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that contract with Sandra Long. Questions or comments? not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay, I have nominations for the Lebanon Conservation District Directors. And we've received two different organizations, nominations from two different organizations, and both have first choice nominees as Calvin Miller for the Farmer Director of Fredericksburg and Bob Arnold of Ranch Avenue, Lebanon as the Public Director. Both are willing to serve again if they're board members.
Well, since Martin's not here to accept an
Well,
appointment,
that's a second choice.
I was just trying to be
Oh,
funny.
okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the directors for the Conservation District, Calvin Miller and Bob Arnold.
Could I make a comment with, I'll second that motion, but I would just like to say that I've served on that board since I've been a county commissioner, which is a long time now. And they're both great additions to that board, so pleased to nominate them and have them continue to serve.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve those reappointments. Any comment or question? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay, I have exemptions from property real estate tax for disabled veterans who qualify for the program. Melissa Walters of Lovers Lane, Lebanon. Corey Antal of South 14th Street, Lebanon. Christopher Schaefer of Roseland Avenue, Lawn. Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve those real estate tax exemptions for disabled veterans.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those property tax exemptions. Any question or comment? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so ordered.
Then I have two applications for hotel tax grant funds for tourism. First being from the Lebanon Valley Poultry Fanciers. This is for support of the Lebanon Valley Poultry Fanciers Poultry Show, which in their description is known to be the biggest and best run show on the East Coast. They have exhibitors from 18 different states, Massachusetts to the north, Indiana to the west, and Carolinas. And they have blocks of rooms for exhibitors at the newly built Fairfield Inn and Suites for the show. And the expo is one of the biggest to bring in people from out of state and spend their money in the Lebanon area. So they are asking for $4,000 toward the promotion of this out of a total cost of $8,000.
I think it's your.
Okay, I thought maybe you were starting and I just cutting out. I'll make a motion to approve the Lebanon Valley Poultry Fanciers request for a $4,000 hotel tax grant.
And I'll second that motion, and I can't hold back today. I have to make a
Go ahead.
comment. I just want to make sure that, and we have this huge audience here to hear me make this statement, but how things have changed and how things are changing in Lebanon County, and with that new hotel out there and the new, not new now, but management at the Expo Center, how incredibly things have changed here in Lebanon County. And so we have a lot of people to thank, and we'll thank the good Lord for helping us make this happen, but I think things really are changing in Lebanon County. So I'm happy to second this motion for Mr. Dana Lape and his incredible efforts. We were at that poultry show, and it's an incredible thing. It's can't imagine how many people are enthusiastic about chickens, but they really are. So I'm happy to second the motion.
I'd just like to add that the Holiday Inn Express also was listed as receiving some of the rooms, in addition to the Fairfield.
And I'll just add that Dana is at the center of a lot of this success out at the Expo and the Fair. I mean, he's a tireless volunteer and really a nice spark plug for a lot of ideas and innovations. And I think they had 5 judges for that, none of whom were from Pennsylvania. They were from 5 different states to come in and judge the 18 states that were represented. So, I mean, it's just quite an undertaking. Plus, because of COVID, he's not able to get a lot of help in taking all that down, which is a huge undertaking. So he's had to deal with that as well. So he just always rises to the occasion, and I'm happy to support this request.
And I think he's also going to be reappointed now to the Visit Lebanon Valley Board to serve on there its full length of time. And, they're welcoming him back there as well.
Well, if any questions? Yes?
That
Is-
ends a tribute to Dana Lee.
Yeah.
He loves the chickens. Is this $4,000 grant for next year's show? Or is this to offset
My assumption was it was for this year.
Oh, I thought it was for next year, because I thought we already approved one for this year.
Mr. Administrator?
Yeah, I'm looking for the date on here.
Me too.
Yeah, my assumption.
Maybe this is
I
his second
believe-
one this year.
No, I'm imagining this is for the next
For next year.
Probably
That's what I
because
was
they would
thinking,
use
so
it
they
for
could
promotion.
plan.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay, so,
see,
okay,
yeah.
that was gonna be my next question. What is the date of this next year? It's not listed.
I don't have that. No.
And is there any, I mean, I'm sure among the chicken community and the poultry community, there's a lot of buzz about this show, and I saw some of the social media coverage, I think Commissioner Ames, that you put on Facebook, some of the pictures and things. But is there any sort of outward community advertising? I mean, I did not see anything or hear of anything, and the only reason I knew it took place is because of what you put on Facebook. So is part of these grants, and there's a lot of big shows at the Expo Center, cat shows and all sorts of things that draw from a large a large number of states. And, unless you're in that group, you never know that thing goes on.
They do have that digital
I
sign
was
up
gonna
front.
say, they post all of it on that digital sign.
Okay.
And it's
You
on
have to
their
get by there to
website.
see it, obviously.
And primarily the money is for pulling people in to stay in hotels and spend money from outside the county.
So it's for outward
It really
advertising,
is. I
other
mean,
states and
that's
things?
really the intention, a big part of it is the promotion to bring people from outside the
Okay.
county.
Because that's the only source of revenue for promoting tourism
Okay,
is the hotel.
gotcha.
Yeah, so they use their own network within their associations and so on, but yeah, Dana's more effective than most.
So the 2021 show was October 9th, just a couple of weeks ago. So it looks like as soon as they got done sweeping the floor, they put the application in for next year. So
Wow.
So sometime in early October.
I would think so.
Okay.
All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay, a second application for hotel tax grant funds. This is from the Mount Gretna Area Historical Society. They are requesting $600 toward a sign. Total cost of the sign $1,800. This is for the Mount Gretna Area Historical Society.
That's 800.
Oh, you're talking at 18?
He said 1,800, but I think it's 800. I couldn't read this up here, so I read the printing on the back.
Well, with the 25% match, that might be.
Maybe the line for the dollar sign, maybe they double line the dollar sign.
Did you see it?
I see it, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, more from the.
No, I see how you read 1,800, but the other side said 800.
Okay, so an $800 sign, requesting $600 of that. This is for the Mount Gretna Historical Society's Tutoria, which is a self-guided tour of historical points in town. This tutorial was originally seeded by the hotel tax grant, so they're continuing this with a total of 15 signs. This one in particular will note Lake Duffy, the former Lake Duffy in Mount Gretna, and it's also part of Luke Royer's Eagle Scout project. So he's going to do the installation and the remaining fundraising for this sign as part of that project with Troop 446.
I'll make a motion to approve that grant to the Mount Gretna Historical Society.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comment? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
All right. That's right, to 9:50 and Dan Lyons is probably out here.
I think it's important to note that the commissioners do a good job with that 10% hotel tax that we administer. We really
We could go a long way,
Good morning.
Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, and I'd like to introduce yourself and your position, and then you may proceed, Daniel.
Thank you. My name is Dan Lyons. I'm the Programs Director for the Redevelopment Authority. The Redevelopment Authority administers the county's community development program, and including principally the community development block grant funding. And the business I have this morning is related to that block grant. Every year, the county receives an entitlement allocation from the state's Department of Community and Economic Development and goes through an application process to request those funds. The application process is culminating now. The application will be made to DCD a week from today. It started earlier this summer with a public hearing where we invited members of the public to comment on the potential use of the community development funding for past program performance. We solicit funding requests from Lebanon County municipalities, the eligible municipalities, and that would exclude the city of Lebanon to get money directly from HUD, the federal government, and South Lebanon Township, who gets money from the state as an entitlement as well. Now we have an interesting piece of news that we learned earlier this week. As a result of the 2020 census, there will be another local state entitlement community, and that's Mill Creek Township. So for 2 decades now, it's been the county and on behalf of South Lebanon Township, starting with the fiscal year 2022 program, it will be the county on behalf of South Lebanon and on behalf of Mill Creek Township. Now, they're relatively small. We don't know yet what their grant amount will be. I suspect it will be close to the state minimum, somewhere around $70,000 or $80,000 a year.
And can I ask a question on that? I also was reading something, I don't know if it was online, where they would be counting prisoners in their home county, so we wouldn't have the prisoners being counted anymore. So do you think that's going to impact South Lebanon?
I suspect that will impact the data for South Lebanon if they don't count the prisoners anymore.
Yeah.
But we weren't notified of any change to South Lebanon's entitlement status. Now, I'm not positive, but I think they're protected under a different arrangement with the state. They were actually included as an entitlement under some sort of, it was like a impacted communities in the early 80s. There was some type of statewide study where South Lebanon qualified under that provision, and that has remained untouched despite this change in census data. And again, we weren't notified of any change. Other municipalities have come and gone under the county's program, but for 2 decades, there have been none others.
That's interesting. I didn't realize there was another class. Thank you.
Yeah. So the business I have related to the application, every year at the end of this cycle, we come to the commissioners, request approval and authorization to submit the application on the county's behalf. Then we have a fair housing resolution and a section 504 resolution. So it's 3 resolutions related to the fiscal year 2021 CDBG application. And I do have a 4th that's related to an earlier CDBG fiscal year. You can take those one at a time. That would be
Do
advice.
you want to take the 3 for 21? All right. Entertain
I'll
a
make a
motion.
motion to approve the 3 different proposals, resolutions for the CDBG program for Dan at the redevelopment
for the year 21.
for 21, yeah.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those recommendations for 2021. Questions or comments? Yes?
Dan, when you say with like this addition of Mill Creek Township now,
Mhm.
so it's gonna be Lebanon County on behalf of South Lebanon and Mill Creek,
Mhm.
what does that exactly entail? Do you have to allocate a certain amount now for those designated townships?
The state, we participate under the state's small communities program. So the CDBG program is actually a federal program run by HUD, but, and that's where the city qualifies, being a larger municipality. but the county is an entitlement under the state's program. So the state gets a pot of money from HUD, and then they allocate it according to a formula, and now they will include Mill Creek Township in their formula. And because Mill Creek and South Lebanon are smaller, the state does a single contract with the county that covers the county's money and those smaller entitlement community monies. So the county will not be setting aside any money for Mill Creek Township. The county will be receiving additional money from the state that is to be used on behalf of Mill Creek Township.
And that'll be for the next round?
For the next round, yes.
And you said that you anticipate it being the state minimum. What is that
I
number?
think it's around 70 or 80,000.
So
right
South Lebanon gets 150,
Mhm.
152.
That's right. Right now, the county gets about $350,000 to be used outside the city and outside South Lebanon. South Lebanon gets their own $150,000 earmarked within our contract. And then I expect going forward, Mill Creek will have an earmark of around $70,000 or $80,000 to be spent in their township.
So this will go to 580 next year, presumably, or whatever, if there's an increase.
Correct.
Not to prolong this, but it doesn't seem like a fair allocation. You know, we have the whole county, and basically South Lebanon's getting almost half of what the whole county, the rest of the county is getting, so it's kind of generous. And I thought maybe Cedar Haven was part of that equation, why they were designated that and so on.
Yeah, that's what I've been told, that Cedar Haven and the prison both
They
contribute to that.
they have the most, like Medicare, Medicaid beds of all the nursing homes in the entire county. So that would put them in that income bracket that would bring in additional funding.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. And the
Now you need another motion for what, Dan?
This is for the county's fiscal year 2019 CDBG program that we applied for 2 years ago. We have the money, we're doing construction projects this year with those funds. And the construction projects that we did this year came in higher than the cost estimates that were prepared pre-pandemic in 2019. So we needed to move some funding around in the budget. And what we're requesting is to take money from the county's housing rehab program line item within the CDBG budget to fund the excesses for the Myerstown, Anvil, and Jonestown projects, construction projects that are underway. The county has a well-funded housing rehab program through another grant source.
All right, so the motion to allow the housing authority to move revenues to meet the 21 budget, is that accurate?
19.
The
19,
fiscal year 19,
Fiscal
right,
year
the work
19.
that we're doing this year is 21.
you're doing it now, yeah.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that reassignment of those funds. Any question or comment? You can get a sense of.
How much is the difference? Like, how much is moving?
I think it's maybe, actually I have it here. It's about $35,000.
It is amazing the bureaucracy, the layers of bureaucracy that you deal with, and have that all clear in your head. That's a blessing to us. I'll say that way.
All these agencies have that to deal with, it's amazing.
Yeah. All right, any questions? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Good seeing you again.
And you.
No one else is here yet, okay? I didn't see anything. Oh, there were? Oh, then they're
Supposed to be.
they're being
Yeah,
very,
it's really
they're
low.
very quiet.
Yes.
Being nice.
Didn't even see.
I feel
I
the
snuck
same
in.
about Dan's. These guys are really just, you know, you can see Dan has some good grip on it.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's always good to have at least one Jesuit-educated person here, that's good.
That does make it a lot easier to start and to begin speaking.
Good morning.
Before Jesuits get you going.
Would you like to introduce yourselves, and then you may proceed?
My name's Amanda Davis Bowie. I'm chairing the Lebanon County Women's Commission.
And I'm Allie Milan-Frado, and co-chairing the Hall of Fame Committee for the Commission for Women.
Welcome to the meeting.
Do we have a proclamation, Jamie? Or did you want to give us some
What order
background?
they want to go in
Sure,
here?
I'll give you just a little bit of background. So the Women's Commission came to be in 2003, so we've been around for quite a while, and we've been really privileged to have both Commissioner Litz and Commissioner Phillips as liaisons to our committee. Currently it's Commissioner Litz, and thank you. And you also sit on our Hall of Fame committee, so I'm probably telling things you already know. But we started the Hall of Fame a little over 10 years ago. It was 11 now that we missed the Hall of Fame ceremony in 2021 because of COVID. And the intention behind it is to honor the voices, experiences, and work of unsung heroes in our community. So women who work tirelessly, really keep the community running, but rarely get asked for recognition or receive it in official capacities. And in 2020, we held our first virtual Hall of Fame due to COVID, and so we're here with sort of a two-part ask. The first is to announce the names and recognize the women who were inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2020 because they did not get an in-person induction ceremony. And the other is to ask for a proclamation during Women's History Month that Amanda has prepared on behalf of the Women's Commission. Would it be okay if I share the names and induction categories for the 2020? Thank you. So Megan Winslow was inducted as Woman Advocating for the Arts. Cheryl Bador was inducted as a Woman Creating Community. Janice Buckingham was also inducted in the Women Creating Community category. Christina Davis, who incidentally is Amanda's mother, was inducted as a Woman Promoting Education. Lori Bowersox was inducted as a Woman Promoting Education. Stephanie Andriazzi was inducted as a Woman Promoting Healthcare. Judith Jo Clark was inducted as a woman demonstrating leadership in the community. Joanna Golden Knoll was inducted as a woman working on behalf of the military. Jennifer DeReyes was inducted as a woman advocating science and technology. And then we had two trailblazers who were inducted, Norma Iris Gonzalez and Jenny Murphy Shiplett. And all of these inductees have really just done incredible work in their fields and in our community, and we're so pleased to have them join a prestigious class of women in the Hall of Fame.
Very good. It's quite a list.
I also wanted to just give you a little update on some of the happenings that is going on with the commission. Due to COVID, 2021 hasn't been as exciting as our years usually are, but we needed to update you also on what had happened in 2020. So through the commission, we have something called the Glass Slipper Dress Sale, and it's a program that helps the young women in the community who would like to attend prom. We had 355 dresses donated for our 2020 sale, and the sale netted over $1,800. And then we also have, we also promote the Girls on the Run program, which has really been a really active organization. I think they have 70 girls that are participating this year, which is really impressive since we are still in the midst of COVID. Their final run is going to be November 6th up at Millersville University. And then we also help to promote the Junior Achievement Program. We donate to them every year. And it's a phenomenal program. They have recently moved online due to COVID, but the positive in that is now they're able to reach thousands of children, which is a little bit different than the number that they were able to reach whenever they were actually working in the classrooms. So there's some collateral beauty that came out of COVID in that situation. So we're going to get, we also have a grants committee where we'll offer grants to women in the community who are working within the organization or are working for themselves. It's an application process. And last year, the grants committee was not able to be active due to COVID, and we have to figure out how we're going to make it work this year since we still have some other restrictions of COVID. And that brings us to our proclamation. Is it okay if I read it?
Do you defer?
Jamie?
Sure. Jamie, go right ahead.
Yeah.
I don't get paid extra.
Jamie usually reads them.
Jamie
but
usually-
he's
I don't
defer-
want to take that.
No, he's,
Go on.
He's good, he's good.
Go on. You'll get all the,
You're on a roll. Just
you'll
keep
get
rolling.
the emphasis better than me. Go ahead.
So our proclamation is for World Women's Day. Whereas International Women's Day is celebrated each year during Women's History Month on March 8th. The highlights and highlights the historical, cultural, and political achievements of women. And whereas this day serves as a call to action against gender discrimination around the world. And whereas International Women's Day has been observed since 1911 and serves as a reminder of the important progress women have made towards equality. And whereas the Lebanon County Commission for Women was established March 20th of 2003 to assist women to enhance their status in the community. And whereas with the goal of the Lebanon County Commission for Women is to promote awareness, be a catalyst for change, and facilitate action and concerns facing women and their families. And whereas in 2010, the commission created the Women's Hall of Fame as a way to recognize women in Lebanon County who have made significant contributions in their field of work. Women have been inducted into the Hall of Fame in the following categories: women demonstrating leadership, women creating community, women promoting agriculture, women working for justice, women promoting healthy lifestyles, women contributing to the arts, women innovating in education, women fostering advancements in science and technology, and women serving in the military. Recipients are honored at our annual Hall of Fame luncheon held during Women's History Month. The Women's Hall of Fame continues to honor phenomenal women each year. And whereas with the combined spirit and commitment of all women in Lebanon County, our Lebanon County Women's Commission will advocate for increased opportunities for women to achieve positions of leadership in business and government and professions. Whereas the women of Lebanon County Commission of Women appreciate the struggles of the suffragists and others who fought for women. Thank y'all for allowing us to have this opportunity and share these wonderful things.
Jimmy, do you want to finish it? Therefore, we.
Oh, I can. Therefore, we, the county commissioners, Lebanon County Commissioners, do hereby recognize the Women's World Day and proclaim that March 8th, 2022 is recognized as World Women's Day in Lebanon County.
Therefore, I would be honored to make a motion to approve this proclamation. And will this then be presented in with the certificates for the Hall of Fame winners?
Are we able to do that? Yes, we would love to provide that.
I'm sorry, it wasn't your turn.
That's
Just
It
kidding.
was.
Just
Yes,
kidding.
yes, it was. He did the 2019,
just
I did the
kidding.
2021. It is my turn.
I would like to second the motion, but I would also like to comment.
You may, yes.
All right, I'll
Yeah,
second the
motion is
motion to adopt the proclamation, but 2003, you said that my wife was in the small group that came in 2003 to this office to petition the county commissioners to give seed money to actually initiate and start the Women's Commission. So I'm always proud of my wife and the role that she plays, and she obviously did something in 2003 that is still active and benefiting the community. So I'm proud to second the motion to adopt this proclamation.
We have it moved and duly seconded, and I want to thank you for your leadership and your volunteerism with the group. And I have to ask you, were you a scholar athlete at Lebanon School District?
No, they're not Lebanon School District.
Okay, I thought
I did basketball there though.
that's what I thought.
I knew him from Mr. Simone. He was like my second father.
Gotcha, okay.
I grew up
I thought we
there.
had knowledge. Okay, any comment or question on the motion? Not all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Are you also going to promote? Okay.
If you'll
I didn't
allow
want you to
us
leave
to,
yet.
yeah. Thank you for passing the proclamation, and we look forward to sharing this with our 2022 class of inductees, which allows us to also promote the nominations for the 2022 class of Women's Hall of Fame are currently open until the end of this month. So applications are available in both English and Spanish, and people can make nominations on behalf of another woman, with her knowledge or without, though it's a good idea often to have a nominee check the information to make sure it's accurate. We also do posthumous nominations, so for a woman who did fantastic work during her life but is no longer with us, those are still eligible for induction. So if anyone is interested in nominating, please visit the county website on the Commission for Women page, and we have available applications in both English and Spanish.
And the Lebanon County webpage, the homepage is LebanonCounty.org or lebcounty.org, I believe it is. And then they can find the Commission for Women.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Anything else? Amanda, again, thanks for your leadership and good seeing you. Ellie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both ladies.
For having us.
Oh, yeah, we have official presentation. We have our on-site photographer.
Is that your official title then?
I think so.
We're gonna have to get him a special one.
Try to get the heads in this
We'll
time.
have to ask the senator and see what he says.
We gotta have credentials or something to
You should
wear.
accept it.
Make sure you get a
You're our
stipend.
chair.
Yeah, Amanda, thank you.
Somehow I always get
Get the funny
They could
seat.
go that way, just another foot, and I wouldn't be in
Yeah.
the seats.
Awesome.
I get the bleacher seats.
Oh, this way.
He's chasing me this way.
Everyone, there we go.
I don't know
Thank
which
you.
commissioner to listen to.
We got a 50% chance of being right, so.
Those are good odds.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So when you ask me that, that's right.
Congratulations, good to see you.
Good to see
Let's hope we
you
had the same
too.
person.
Please let your wife know we remember when she was inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yes, she was also
Yeah,
inducted
she's
a couple years
received
ago, I
many
think, yeah,
honors.
yeah.
Congratulations.
She deserved that as well.
She 100% did, yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Wonderful woman, thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Thank you all, have a great day.
Kick the bucket.
Yeah, jump in.
Did I?
That's good.
Did
I got you,
stay?
I cropped you out of
Oh,
my
I'm sorry.
picture.
I didn't mean to do that, obviously.
Yes, sir. Craig, you're going to wrap up this day, so you'd like to introduce yourself and then you may proceed.
Yeah, I'm Craig Zminis with the Farmland Preservation Program at the Conservation District. I'm here today presenting for Sue Ellen Bowman. She has a 1 acre true donation, so this would be different than the normal donation since it doesn't meet the criteria of the normal farm preservation since it's so small. The only state criteria is that it's next to preserve farm. And this property is at 365 Tunnel Hill Road and it was preserved in 2002 and it was celebrated as the 6,000 acre preserved in Lebanon County. But there was some complications with, it's on the map, it's labeled as Charlotte Street. It was removed from the ASA because it was next to an industrial park. And there was some right-of-way confusion, so it had to be removed at the time. So now that it's no longer viable as a roadway, since it's a warehouse, she wants to donate it as part of the preservation.
She still owns the farm, right?
Mhm.
I thought she did, I didn't think she did.
Yeah, she still owns it, so she's asking for it to be donated. The cost of the incidentals would be covered by the state, and just I would ask you to accept the donation.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the donation to Farmland Preservation, which is dear to all of us here.
And I'll second that motion with pleasure.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. So moved, and thanks to Sue Bowman.
Thank you.
Do you have the current numbers, acres that are preserved in Lebanon County with you?
I don't have them with me.
And the
It's
number of farms total?
so it's around 19,500. I know I have currently. I'm sending to the next state board meeting. I'm sending 4 or 5 farm depending. So we should be on our way to 20,000 acres with the next group that gets preserved.
And that will be this year yet or next year?
Next year, they're submitting to the December board meeting, so when the checks get here, it's gonna take 2-3 months, so it should be, thinking between March and May of next year, we should reach that 20,000 goal.
Okay, between March and May. And I'm looking forward to a celebration.
Yep, that's in the works.
Thank you.
Have you heard my proposal?
I have not.
My proposal is instead of giving these big warehouses alerta, that we charge them double tax and put the extra tax into preserving farmland.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we're trying to get that legislated.
That'd be great.
I do have one question, maybe not as lofty as Bill's offer, but I just wanted to ask you to update my talking points, I guess. Are we still #1 in Class 5 counties in farmland preservation?
That I'm not sure of off the top of my head.
We had dropped the number 2, but that may have changed now.
2 among fifth class?
Yeah, we had.
Because we were always in the top 5 or so of the state, no matter what class, but we were usually number 1 in 5th class. So maybe after we get these 4 farms in, we'll be. So
I don't know, but I
it
just,
shows the investment that's been made by our predecessors and by this board to, keep that status. So let's see if we can regain it after we get these 4 farms in there.
Yeah, I will look up that information, get that to you.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. Anything else?
That's everything for me.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for joining us.
Yep, thank you.
I don't really think anything more here. If I could just maybe speak to the budget a little bit, some of the stuff we talked about yesterday. So we're in the process of putting together the departmental numbers. Once that occurs, the budget will be compiled, provided to the commissioners, and rather than a series of round robin hearings like we've done in some years, instead the commissioners would like to just identify departments that may have projects or requests or increases that they'd like to speak about, and then we'll do scheduling of certain departments based on commissioners' desire. So sometime in mid-November, with the intent of putting it out for public view on December 2nd, 2022, and then adoption December 23rd, following 20 days.
So on those departments that don't have projects underway, would they be essentially, flat funded, or would there?
Potentially, I mean, if that, if it's a static, and I can't speak for them at this point yet, but what I gather is if it's a static request where it's, just
we're
going
close to
by
what it
on,
has been.
Yeah.
then yeah, which is kind of the way we've done it here the last, last year certainly.
And their wages, if we award an increase, will obviously go up, but it's within a normal range, so that wouldn't raise have to make them prepare a
Well,
whole.
if it's something across the board that everyone's getting, then it wouldn't have any bearing on it.
Right.
We're looking for more capital requests, things like that, or special needs. Staffing issues, yeah.
So ear to the ground, are there any departments that you anticipate to have large increases?
Well, some of them have already come in.
Yesterday, you heard some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yesterday, IT came in with a proposal for a software solution that would provide for a lot more public access to records and be able to, for example, do a marriage license online 24/7, attorneys filing documents, monetary, same 24/7, pay online. That would implement over a couple of years, but that's a pretty significant ask. Assessment office with a pictometry flyover, which is something we've been doing for a number of years now.
But that actually went down in cost, amazingly.
Yeah, to keep the photography, aerial photography that's used for a whole lot of reasons, from emergency services to assessment to planning.
Sure.
So many, a dozen different departments and agencies that use that.
Water authority.
Water Authority, the county or the city of Lebanon Authority. So that would be refreshed with 2 additional flights over the next 5 years. So that is something that they came and spoke about. But as Bill said, the annual cost of that actually is going down by $100,000, which is nice to see. So, yeah, at this point, there's nothing that's really shocking, I guess, to me. The software solution's pretty expensive.
Other
but
than
they
the
all are.
911 center, that's shocking.
Right, I was gonna get to that as far as the building and the bids, unless there's any more on budget at this point.
If I may, and Commissioner Ames, you kind of read my mind, but I kind of know what your mindset is vis-a-vis these LERTAs, but last week, I attended South Anvil Township's supervisors meeting, and nearly fell out of my chair when,
4 coming.
yeah.
4
Well, the
coming.
North Point has already been on the board.
Right.
They're They received alerta approval from South Anvil. They've yet to go to Anvil, Cleona, or to you, as I understand it. But the people from DHL Supply Chain got up and talked about their latest project, and they're building 3 more warehouses in that business park off of Killinger Road.
And they're already building them, why do we have to pay them to come here, Laura? That's my thought.
I did ask the DHL reps, they did not, I said, are you going to seek LERTA on these? And they wouldn't answer, but I would be willing to bet dollars to donuts they will. But my question to you is, and as a citizen, as a member of the news media, my real concern is this tractor-trailer traffic that is with these warehouses that are going into Killinger Road. North Lebanon Township, the Walmart distribution center is the largest on the East Coast and the second largest in their chain. And, you know, God only knows where else that, you know, people are eyeing up these things. Bell and Evans really increasing their poultry outtake, or output rather. Tractor-trailer traffic is gonna be a ginormous problem. And I'm just wondering, you know, in the grand scheme of things with county planning and, you know, the comprehensive plan, which I think you're getting ready to update, is that ever like part of the discussion that while we don't want to shun development and all these great tax revenues that they promise, we just simply aren't set up on these country roads for tractor-trailer traffic? The North Point guy told Anvil Cleona when he was sweet-talking them, 14 tractor trailers an hour, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I mean, you know, I've got a 14-year-old, she's already talking about when she's gonna get her license and how she's gonna be tootling all over the place, and that worries the heck out of me, to have inexperienced young drivers having to manage around all of these tractor trailers that are on the horizon.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, that development where they're building these warehouses was established like 20 years ago and zoned for that. But now with the increased interest in these fulfillment centers, they're not warehouses, fulfillment centers, you know, the grab is out for the land. So, and like you said, you already know my position on, I don't think we should continue to pay these corporations to come here and stress our infrastructure, which you're referring to. So at least they should pay their full share of taxes so that we can afford to redo the roads and so on and support this extra traffic. So, but you know, it's zoned for that, Laura, so the municipalities nor the county can say, hey, we don't want you to come here. You know, I mean, it's, but it is, and to me, of course, that land, even though it was designated for development, has been in agriculture for that entire time since it was zoned that way. So, you know, we're losing our food supply and the rural and agricultural tone of Lebanon County, which to me is very important.
Right, the quality of life.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it, last week was the Township Commissioners Conference, or 2 weeks ago? Is this something that these representatives of our townships find concerning?
I think they do generally. I hear, you know, the circles that I travel in, I hear concern about it all the time, yes.
I mean, if you were North Anvil Township and you had no ability to generate any revenue, would you be concerned about it? Most likely you would, right? So that
they can generate the revenue, they have to pass a tax,
Yeah.
which everyone else has, but.
So the traffic at this point is Clear Springs Road is what they're targeting for the warehouse traffic.
Right. But at the volume that they're talking about,
Yeah, they haven't gotten into any of that with us yet, or volume wise.
I just have a follow-up on the budget. There was a couple ladies came to a meeting a little while ago that were county retirees. They had asked for an increase. Has that been discussed? Is that on the table?
Defer to our controller.
Tell them, Bob.
You want me to? I had asked our actuary to give me an estimate as to how much it would cost to do that, and the estimate would be $4 million. It would add $1 million under the new government standards accounting board. It would add $1 million a year to the annual defined contribution, determined contribution for the next 4 years. And the new government accounting standard board's policy that will be coming out in the next year or two. In the future, it would recognize that increase if we granted it in 1 year, not over 4, which would be a $4 million. In this case, it would have been a $4 million increase in 1 year that the county would have to pay out.
Thank you. Anything else? Jim?
Yeah, I just want to speak for a moment to the DES project, to the emergency services building, the advertisements. The plans are available and already out in the street with some general contractors and some of the prime contract bidders. The advertisements are scheduled, and we'll be opening those bids November 10th, with the idea of coming in here whenever the following Thursday to make recommendation on bids coming in, and then hopefully, as long as the numbers are falling into the parameters that we hope, going out to the bond market sometime mid to late November, hopefully before Thanksgiving. The markets get a little bit lazy after Thanksgiving and toward the holidays, so it's more opportune to do that before the holidays. So that is the timeline in terms of the financing and the bidding of that project. I just thought I'd bring you up to date on that. There was a pre-bid meeting last week, good showing, lots of interest in it. Obviously, everyone's concerned about supply chain and timing, so they did extend the anticipated build-out schedule, I think, from 14 to 16 months, just because of anticipated supply chain steel, particularly beams and things like that. So but we're still optimistic, still feel good about the design, and hopefully there's enough competition, the numbers are good.
Jamie, I hate to ask you this, given, I don't want you to slam the door or throw anything at me, but
Try not to.
can you just, has everything settled down at MDJ Wolf's office? Is the humidity down and all that?
I'd be happy to report.
Please don't leave out the part where MDJ Wolf called Martin in to talk to him.
I think that
Please include
the
that.
judge and Mr. Brodnick discussed it the following week, and we had some air testing done in there, which would have been routine anyway, because the remediation company's gonna come in and do some cleaning in the basement. Always likes to know what the before and after is on their project. So, and no surprise, they found some high mold counts here and there. The office area that the clerical staff inhabits was clean, as the contractor described it to me. But we have, it's scheduled, they're gonna start next week. It's gonna take a day or two to do the basement and so on. We'll get a commercial dehumidifier in the basement rather than just a sort of off-the-shelf household, which actually turns out to be the problem. The dehumidifier was continuing to run, but it wasn't drawing the moisture, so it didn't sound as though anything was out of sorts. It was running. So anyhow, just yesterday, the property manager was down about some other things, met with our maintenance supervisor, looking at some of the mortar over the windows and some of the window sills that show some condensate, and they're gonna fix all those things. So it's, yeah. And again, the question was asked of the contractor, is there any reason they need to leave that building? Because if there is, then we need to find an alternative way to do business for a while. But in his opinion, there wasn't at that point, and no one in the office seems to be raising any real concerns. I spoke with Judge Wolf again last week. So.
Very good.
was okay. Seems.
Matt, you're the only one that didn't ask a question.
Good so far.
Okay. You're just
He
a good listener.
listens.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, he's a good listener.
The only thing I'll add is for the good is we have a new director at the executive director at United Way. That was filled, and I think she had her first meeting this morning, official board meeting. And so we look forward, maybe we could have a workshop with her to introduce her to the community a little bit.
And we're still interviewing chief clerk of elections. However, we have, as I did last meeting, ran through the contract with Pat Nace, retired director in Snyder County. And, you know, it's sort of comical. She comes here 1 or 2 days a week and she reports to me and she says, I think it's good. I'm not needed at this point to do any heavy lifting. And she said, if that's okay. I said, what's okay with me is that you see things are okay, you know, from her perspective. And of course, Mike Anderson's still here in the building and touches base. But they got their trainings in for the poll workers. Monday, I think there's 1 or 2 of those left to go. It looks like we're gonna have sufficient help and expertise to get through here, even if we have somebody, happen to hire somebody in advance of election day. There'll be plenty of hands-on, and Joe, who's retired from the office, though, is coming back on election day to assist. A lot of experienced election day workers to carry it through.
Like Elaine Ludwig, who also was a performer from the
Yes,
start.
I think it's important to note how people want to join in and help
Yep.
come together.
Absolutely, yeah. So you'll have canvassing on Tuesday morning, which you'll need to commence first thing in the morning. I think it's gonna be upstairs.
Oh, in the third floor,
306,
yeah.
because the
Okay.
machines occupy the
Okay,
space and so
sure.
on. But you do have to kick that off as the election board. Now, I'm sure you need to stay for every minute of it, it's your choice.
We did.
But it needs to be commenced by you. And then Wednesday, there will be some counting of the ballots that come in after lunchtime Monday, I think is the way it's the cutoff. And then you do those they can come in up until 8 p.m. on Tuesday, but you don't do those, live as they come through the door on Tuesday. Those are saved until Wednesday. And then computation on Friday.
And are we still going to have, somehow I had a question on this, are we still going to have limited numbers of observers based on parties picking who their observers are, or will more people be able to come in?
I don't know the answer to that. I can check, but I don't know. I don't know. So
Well, if you find out, that would be very helpful.
Was that an election board decision?
I don't know. I didn't spend much time with you guys when you were doing your canvassing, so I don't remember if that was something that Michael just posed as a policy. Was it for COVID at the time, or was it just to limit?
I don't think he limited it to, as
Yeah,
far as I
there
know.
was like 3, I'm picking a number, 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats allowed at a
I
time.
always thought there were more Democrats in the room. That's just me.
No, there was a limited number.
Okay.
That's something I think we need to either discuss or either carry forward that practice or develop a new
I
one.
mean, obviously, the room has only so much room.
Yeah.
And you have
The
to keep
machines
the
are set up
records
in the
safe.
perimeter, and the election day workers are doing their thing.
Notation, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We stand adjourned. Thank you all for your input and your attendance.